Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. New York City retiring a classic form of payment, a new flu strain making its way around South Alabama and beyond, and Anthony Joshua, famous fighter, involved in a fatal crash. So, as we say, click it and stick it right here as we light it up for News 5 Now.
Brought to you by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers, covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. News 5 Now starts right now.
Well, hello and welcome everybody. 8:05 right now. I'm Chad Petria for News 5 Now. In today for Shamani Baker. We thank you for joining us every day for News 5 Now. Each day we get into the big stories of the day, your responses to the question of the day, and a look at the poll of the day, the Facebook poll. So a lot to get to today. We'll get started first with our big stories on this Tuesday morning right here on News 5 Now. Number 5, New York City transit officials say tomorrow will be the last day to use the Metro card. Have you ever used one of these things? Yeah, the blue letters, yellow background right there. Very popular, very ubiquitous for much of the 90s and 2000s. So the system will fully transition to what they call Omni. That's a contactless payment system. The switch from those Metro cards to Omni, they say it's expected to save at least $20 million a year. Number 4, British boxer Anthony Joshua involved in a deadly car accident on Monday. Joshua was among the people injured in a crash in Nigeria that killed 2 people. He was in the backseat of a car involved, and they say his injuries are minor. State police are still investigating whatever was the cause of that incident. Number 3, Escambia County Sheriff's deputies say they stopped a 24-year-old woman for driving erratically on 9 Mile Road yesterday afternoon at about 2, and they say they found 20 grams of cocaine inside the vehicle. Ended up arresting 24-year-old Bailey Hart of Robertsdale. She's charged with possession of cocaine and also drug paraphernalia. Number 2, upper respiratory infection numbers are up across Mobile County, but the real concern this year is the new flu strain, H3N2, being called a super flu. Experts say this year could be the most severe outbreak in decades. Now, the symptoms, they say, are especially bad. They include fatigue, fever, brain fog. In addition to normal flu symptoms, doctors say washing hands regularly and wearing masks are the best tools for prevention. And not too late to get the flu shot. I got mine. It's not pleasant, but it helps. If you're already sick, experts say stay home, get plenty of fluids, and also take vitamin C as well. And number 1, a local landmark getting a new owner. The owner of Mobile's longest-running LGBTQ plus bar, Bebop's, Jerry Ellen, celebrating his retirement. That happened over the weekend, and he says an official announcement about the future of the bar is expected by mid-January. And that is a look at some of our top stories on News 5 Now. We thank you again for joining us. So more things to talk about today. We're getting to the end of the year. And when you get to the end of the year, it's also a good time to look back. What are the highlights of this year? So that's where we go for our question of the day today. What has been your favorite part of 2025? What has stood out for you for the year that was? I looked at the question of the day and I decided to make myself a little list on this. And some of the things that stood out for me are the 2025 snowstorm. That was a huge highlight. Now, it wasn't great for everybody, but from my perspective, it was a real honest-to-goodness snowstorm like I grew up with in Maryland. I mean, it was a real accumulation of snow. And on top of that, it was also getting the chance to see the joy my children experienced playing in the snow, building snowmen. I mean, they were keeping these snowmen alive far longer than really necessary. Also, probably days after the snowfall. I think it was a full week before those snowmen finally went away. Another big highlight of 2025 that I thought of was Amtrak. It was cool to see this thing that I've been covering for many years. People have been waiting on, and really, initially, it seemed like a pipe dream that Amtrak would ever be back in Mobile and have a service that's running to New Orleans. I know initially the plans were much grander to have the line be a lot longer, but to even have it established and even have it happen for real, that was kind of a landmark. All right, so that's enough about what I think are highlights. Let me scroll through some of these comments here to see what other people thought were highlights. Ben Slay say being sober for 25 years. Kathy saying finding a job and, getting out of debt, according to David. Also, Kimberly, hey, yeah, she's with me. The snow in January in the Gulf Coast was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so I feel grateful for that. Brian Tyler says being alive. So there are a lot of different opinions, so at least the snow got a little bit of recognition there as well. Yeah, that snow. It was so cold. I remember the third day of coverage, I went up to Highway 59 and I-10, and that is where traffic was shut down heading east into Florida. So if you were heading east on I-10 that day, you could not go any further. So all these trucks, it was like an impromptu parking lot on 59. And so my mission that morning after the morning show was over was just to get sound with different truckers who were essentially trapped in Loxley for hours until they could finally move. And it wasn't until I think around 11 or noon when they finally started letting traffic continue eastbound in that area. All right, so enough about snow memories. I know it's cold today, but we're not getting any precipitation on that. We're going to move on to the next part of News 5 Now. We're going to be talking about the poll. The poll is, do you set off fireworks on New Year's Eve? This is kind of a tug of war in our family that my kids, they really want to do fireworks, and I really don't want to do fireworks. So I tried to do a compromise where we take them to fireworks or do sparklers, something else. But I've always had a fear of doing fireworks myself, and I'm totally comfortable letting other people do it themselves. Kimberly says, I don't set off fireworks. I just go to the local fireworks downtown. This is a good comment. Matt Erdman writes, nice try, MPD. Marcia also says she goes to a public display of fireworks. Aaron says that they don't light off fireworks anymore. Another person says that their dogs are scared of fireworks. So doing fireworks yourself, not necessarily for everybody, but it is something that people do. Everybody has their different thoughts. You can still have time to weigh in on that poll. That poll will be up for a little while longer today. All right, so a lot of cool stuff happening around town and sharing big memories. How are you keeping warm today? I went outside in the parking lot in between shows for a little walk. Man, was it cold. Oh, man, was it cold. Uncomfortably cold. But it'll warm up. Caroline will have more on the forecast at News 5 at 9 if you really want a detailed look at how the temperature is going to just gradually rise as we go on for the next few days. All right, so we always want to talk about Facebook as well. We ask you to please continue to follow us on News 5 Now on Facebook. Well, that's where you can get notified about News 5 Now as it's happening. That's a good place to watch the stream as well. It's also available on other platforms also. That's all the steam I got for today. News 5 Now will return at 12:35 later today. And, of course, join us later this morning on TV for News 5 at 9. I'll be in for Devin Walsh today as well. We thank you for watching News 5 Now, and you guys have a good rest of the morning.
Covering news from your neighborhood and around the world. You are watching News 5 Now, brought to you by Green & Phillips Injury Lawyers.
In the courtroom, the judge knows best, and this judge does too. If you've been hurt in a wreck, you need a law firm that knows the system and how it works. I'm attorney David Green. Call or come by anytime. You never need an appointment.
You